Hey everyone, welcome to Teach Online TV. I am very excited to have our guest here today, who is the author of Never Work Again and is an expert in automating your business and outsourcing. And so I know a lot of us are interested in outsourcing tasks that we do on a regular basis in our business. So I'm really excited to chat with Erlend Bakke today. Again, author of Never Work Again. And if you're looking for more information, a great place to find him is at mroutsource.com or youwillneverworkagain.com. But I think for the outsourcing side of things, for a lot of us, mroutsource.com is probably the best place to start for him. You can also check out his book, Never Work Again, and it's Erlend Bakke. Am I saying that right?
Absolutely. And we were discussing the origins of my Norwegian name as well.
Yeah.
So Bakke means hill, and
Yeah.
Erlend is from Old Norwegian, from the Viking ages, which means foreigner. So you said foreign hill.
Great.
I grew up in Metallica, so
Yes.
I'm wearing my t-shirt, but yeah.
That was a band I listened to much in high school, actually still a little bit.
Me too. Enter Sandman, can never go wrong with that.
Definitely. Great.
They just don't make music like they used to anymore.
The what? Sorry?
They don't make music like they used to anymore.
No. Are they big in Norway?
Yeah, they were pretty big. They were
Yeah.
pretty big, like Guns N' Roses. I kind of grew up with like Guns N' Roses and Metallica.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were the. I remember I was too short to get into the Guns N' Roses concert. I had to be 150 centimeters, and I was like 130 or something, so I couldn't get in.
Terrible.
I was quite depressed.
Struggles of our youth.
Yes, it was a hard life.
Yeah. But now you're in the center of things in London?
Absolutely. I'm just behind the London Eye here. The Paris wheel in London, and it's close to Big Ben. So that's where I'm at right now.
Excellent. Good. Big rents there.
Yeah. It's very cheap.
Yeah. Excellent. Great. So I am curious about the whole outsourcing side of things. I know that we get a lot of questions of people looking for virtual assistants, looking to outsource some of their work, whether it's simple stuff like just setting up a website or doing some of the day-to-day tasks in their business, or even sometimes into the more complicated stuff like marketing and design. What can you share with us about outsourcing? I got a few specific questions to get into it, but what's your general advice around outsourcing?
Okay, so first things first, I think it's important to know that we've been programmed by the school system not to outsource, right? So we grow up, we go to school, we get told to, what do you get if you get an assignment? You have to do it yourself. What happens if you are creative and give your assignment to somebody else? What happens? You probably get called out for cheating and then expelled, and then your parents have to go to the principal, and then you feel embarrassed, and then you feel like a loser because you were a smart entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs do things very differently. That's why so many entrepreneurs dropped out of universities, right? They're like, oh, I don't have to do it this way anymore. I can do it the way I think I should do it. So another thing is modeling, like looking at what other people are doing and then applying the same to your work. That's also frowned upon in school. Everything has to be innovative and creative, yet very few things are new under the sun. Another thing is teamwork. So like if you get an assignment and you're meant to do it yourself, but then you collaborate with lots of other people and you all hand in the same assignment, then again you fail. So there's all these things that the school system has sort of programmed into us to not do. But as entrepreneurs, we know that these are the smart things to do. Leveraging talent and other people's time is how, Richard Branson has built his empire. Sir Richard Branson, British entrepreneur, a founder of the Virgin Media Group, Virgin Group. And, the guy was dyslexic and he wanted to start a student magazine. So how can somebody that's dyslexic start a student magazine? Well, he had to outsource. And it's actually one of the things that he talks about quite a lot in his interviews, because people ask him, like, how did you do things? Well, he said, I couldn't do everything myself. So I just went out there and I tried to find the most talented people that I knew to do stuff that I needed to get done. So he very early understood the paradigm of outsourcing and leveraging other people's time to get things done. Because when you're starting out as an entrepreneur, time is an incredibly scarce resource, right? So you can either spend time or you can spend money, right? Smart entrepreneurs, they will always choose to invest money in other people's time because they know that time is something that they can't buy anymore of.
Right.
Steve Jobs on his deathbed said, time was my most precious resource. So we cannot buy more time. So every single day, every single minute is precious and needs to be used in a way that gives you what you want in life. And understanding how to get talented people to perform amazing things in your business is leverage. So that's why it's so important to understand outsourcing.
Great. Okay. And so if I'm a first-time outsourcer, so first time I'm looking at doing some outsourcing, one of the things is maybe even before you get to outsourcing, is there a period of time where you should be doing the work yourself, figuring out how to do it, and then passing it off to someone? Or do you just go straight to new task, never done it before, let's see who else I can find to get it done? Where is that? Where do you draw that line between passing it off to someone?
Yeah, so the dangerous thing, let's say you build a company, you sell a company, now you got lots of money, and then you start throwing money at things without really understanding, the return on investment that you could expect from like a marketing agency or similar. So it's dangerous to sort of go off and just sort of go to people and say, just do it.
Yeah.
Because then you're uninformed whether it is a really smart thing, because the other person's agenda is like, I want to make money.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's really important in all things to really understand the fundamentals.
Yeah.
So you need to understand the result that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And you need to do a little bit of research on like what are the smart things to do. Because
right.
I've got lots of experience with my coaching clients where they've purchased something, they've spent lots of money on something, they haven't gotten the results, they've sort of blindly trusted people to execute whatever project that they had lined up, which isn't always the case, right? So you do need to be a little bit savvy, and I'm always negotiating and trying to get people down on price and try to sort of figure out what's going to be the most effective way of getting the result I want. So I don't like blindly outsource.
Yeah.
So it does depend a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you haven't outsourced before and you're trying to get started in applying outsourcing, then so what I've done many times is that I very early started outsourcing to the Philippines, because I realized that this is also a skill set that I hadn't learned in school. So on the one hand, when you're paying somebody, let's say $500 a month to do things for you, you're now learning how to be a delegator. You're now learning how to manage people. You're now learning how to think as an entrepreneur. Instead of going, oh, I have to do this, you're going, oh, how can I automate this? How can I get somebody else to do this? So $500 a month to learn how to be a good outsourcer and to leverage other people's time is probably a good investment in your education as an entrepreneur.
So if you were going to go that route, that $500 a month, what kind of tasks would you be outsourcing, or what would you expect them to be doing within that?
So 500 would be full-time. That would be if you hire outside. So with Mr. Outsource, we're slightly more expensive because we actually manage the employee for you.
Yeah.
However, if you go to like Craigslist, Manila, Cebu, or Davao City, which are like the three main outsourcing cities in the Philippines, you can get somebody for $500 full-time a month or less as well. But you also get what you pay for, so you have to be a little bit aware of that.
What would those initial tasks be that you're typically looking to outsource as a first-time person getting into outsourcing?
Absolutely. So in a business, you have two different types of things going on. You have projects and you have repetitive tasks. So a project would be, I want to launch an information marketing product or a course or a book or, a website or a new product on Kickstarter. That's a project, right?
Yeah.
So the things that are going on in the project have like a start and an end.
Yeah.
But in your business as well, you have all these repetitive tasks. So like invoicing, chasing invoices, lead gen, sales, checking that things are being delivered, so you have all these like repetitive tasks going on as well. And I've found it much easier to do outsourcing, because what I've done is I've identified repetitive habits in my businesses, and I've said like, okay, so Monday we do this, Tuesday you do that, Wednesday you do that, Thursday you do this, Friday you do this, and then you do it every week. And then my role is more to sort of just check what they did that day, and give them feedback on how they could do things better.
Okay.
So I work that way. We do also have project-based work, but typically I'll then hire somebody external. Like, so if I'm launching a book or doing some kind of marketing, I'll probably find like a specialist in that area that's really good at marketing, let's say webinars, and then work with them for a certain time period, and then we'll end the relationship. But as a full-time staff, you're actually looking at somebody to help you with repetitive tasks. So if you go to podcasts, it could be like inviting experts on the podcast on a sort of daily, weekly basis, and getting great guests is really just a numbers game. It's like people that are authors that are out there, they want to speak, they want to share their information, and if you're just consistently asking them, at some point they're free for like at some point they're ready to broadcast a new product or something, and then they'll be more than happy to come on your show.
Excellent. And so for people who are out there looking to find that first person, the first virtual assistant or outsourced person, is that something you help them with at mroutsource.com?
Absolutely. So if you go to mroutsource.com, we do a 30-minute free business audit of your business, and we figure out whether we can and can't help you. And the way we work is that you get a project manager, and we have a team of talented freelancers that we've worked with for a number of years. So if you need web design or graphic design or copywriting, SEO, data mining, all of these different tasks done, or just make your PowerPoint look sexy, you hire us for 10 hours, and then we will do the work for you, and we'll manage the project for you.
So you're kind of managing that outsourcing situation essentially for them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, excellent. And you mentioned earlier a little bit about automation in your business. Is that a bit different than outsourcing, or how do you manage automation? Okay, so in terms of automation, it goes back to the repetitive tasks a little bit, because you don't want to spend a lot of time automating something that happens like once a month. Yeah. Right? So you identify if something's like happening every day and it's chewing away at your time. You want to ask yourself, okay, is there any software that can do this for me? Right. So the first question is always like, oh, is there a software that can eliminate this from my time? Yeah. But then there's a fine line between like spending too much time and money on software and just like using like an Excel spreadsheet or just getting somebody else to do it. So we actually use a lot of Excel in our business. And I know a lot of other businesses do as well. So like Google Drive, Excel spreadsheet, logging jobs and stuff like that. We don't have any like internal customized software that we spent like millions of dollars developing. We just use Excel, and we share the Excel spreadsheet with the client, and they have an overview of all the jobs we've done for them. So software is great, but sometimes we get sort of lost in the software trap. Yeah. It's like on our phone, we're only using like 10% of all our apps, right? But we have all these apps, but we only use about 10% of them. Yeah. So it's be wary of the software trap in terms of automation. I try to always sort of go the route of just teaching somebody to do something instead first. Yeah. They're $500 a month, right? So I can just get them to do lots of tasks. Right. But then when it comes a real big problem and they're like, hey, I don't have time anymore because I'm doing this task all the time, then you say, okay, let's automate it with software. Yeah, that's kind of the way we operate too, is it often start off with something like a spreadsheet, work with that for a while until it's like, oh, we're actually doing this all the time. Because the worst thing is, you go and implement a software solution or you set a whole system up for it, and then you realize I'm not actually doing this that often, or I don't actually need this complicated a solution or this powerful a solution. So often you're right, the spreadsheet can manage. It's fun though, right? The what, huh? It's fun to like get in new software and like play with software, right? Yeah. So I love that. Yeah. My new thing right now is buying like Apple Watch bands. So I'm buying Apple Watch bands just because I want to. Yeah. I know it's the monkey in me that wants to like, buy stuff,
that's fine.
But it's like having a new watch every time you get the band on there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you an Apple Watch fan, or are you?
I got the Fitbit Surge. I don't have it on right now, but usually the Fitbit Surge, so it tracks my bike to work and all of that kind of stuff. It's pretty good that way. But it was a gift, so I went with that. I'm kind of curious to try the Apple Watch at some point too, though.
I think maybe there's a new one coming out in September. I'm not sure, but I maybe. Probably buy that. I hope they don't change the lock thing. Then I'll have bands again. So anyway, let's get back to outsourcing.
Of course, yes. Okay, so I'm curious if someone's getting into outsourcing for the first time, are there sort of some mistakes you'd recommend they avoid? I know it seems to me like the kind of thing where you could, it could be a bit dangerous and you could waste a bit of money working because you don't have that personal one-on-one connection. It can be a little hard to sort of see what the person is doing. And, I wouldn't want to get, months into paying someone and find out that they're just not working out. How do you avoid making mistakes the first time you're outsourcing?
Okay. So there's a couple of things. References.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people that I've hired in the past were like great people hang out with great people typically, and losers typically hang out with losers. So like if you have one great person, then ask them do you know somebody, right? That's how I built my entire companies.
Great.
So references is number one. If you don't have references, then testing. Okay, so like give them something. And what I typically do is I'll give them a test where there's like a secret test within the test.
Yeah.
And if you spot the mistake, they're just eliminated. Because you want somebody that's like fully 100% committed, that is really hungry for the job. You don't want somebody that's like just thinks it's kind of okay.
Right.
You want somebody that's hungry, that really wants to perform for you.
Right.
And then I only work with people I like and trust.
Yeah.
So if there's anything in me that says, I don't trust this person, I don't like this person. So I'm having a meeting on Thursday with a guy that wants to invest in Mr. Outsource.
Yeah.
And I got this email from him because I sent an email about a meeting, and there was just a date confusion. And he sends an email which wasn't rude, but it was just like, it seems like he's got a bit of a temper. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, that's so I'm not going to do business with him just because I don't like that side of him. Like you have to be okay with people being confused with the meeting time. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not twice in a row or 3 times in a row, but yeah. So only work with people you like and trust. Mm-hmm. So check references, send them a test and have a secret test within the test. Yeah. And then only work with people you like and trust. And then when you work with people, I use the golden rule. So like I try to treat other people as I want to be treated myself. Right. So I pay people early, I give people bonuses, I tell them great work, and our energy as people also determines a lot of what we get reflected on us. Right. If you want great people, then you have to be great. You know? You have to be a pretty cool guy to have really cool people that want to work for you, right? Yep, definitely. So I think the cooler you are, the cooler people you get. Okay. And the test within a test, that's an interesting one. And I think we've actually kind of unintentionally done that at times. Is that sort of, so for example, I think we had someone doing some pretty simple data analysis on a spreadsheet. So they're taking a spreadsheet and just manipulating the data, moving it around a little bit, nothing too difficult. But there were some errors in the spreadsheet, in the original data. And some people caught that and some people didn't. Is that sort of the kind of thing you're talking about, where you're giving them something saying, do this simple task, but there's actually something more complicated or maybe even broken hidden within it? I love the broken thing, because if there's an error that they can catch that you conceivably did not catch, then that's exactly the kind of person you want. Yeah. So you want somebody that's that has a growth mindset. Yeah. I'm not always interested in like hiring the most intelligent person. For me, it's about growth mindset. And growth mindset is like, so when they spotted that thing in the Excel spreadsheet, they're like, oh, there's something wrong here. I better ask just to be sure. Yeah. And a sort of very smart person might go, oh, he's such a dumbass. He fix that and just fix it and not let you know that there was a mistake.
Right.
So you want people with a growth mindset, and also you want people that, like, when you give them feedback, they're not defensive. They're just like, hey, that was interesting. Thank you for teaching me this.
Yeah. Because
those kind of people are the winners of the world. You know, you oftentimes. I was actually at Wimbledon the tennis tournament on last Monday.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the junior championship winners, and then I was looking at the singles winners for men. And there was very few of the junior champions that were actually Wimbledon champions. It was like one or two.
Yeah.
And why is that? Well, because people are very, very talented at a young age, and things come to them very easily. Sometimes when they meet resistance, when they sort of move from junior to senior, then can't handle not winning, right?
Right.
So it's the kind of people that were like maybe not as good as a junior, but they kept on training and working and were persistent, had a growth mindset, that become like the number one tennis players. Like Novak Djokovic, I know he's knocked out this year's tournament, but he's won 4 Grand Slams in a row now. Mm-hmm. And nobody told him that he was going to be the world number one, but he told himself that he would be, and he told everyone else that he was going to be the world number one. And nobody thought he would, but he had a growth mindset and made it happen.
Right. Yeah. And was open to receiving feedback too, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Okay.
Same with Michael Jordan, you know? It's the same case. It's just like, if you're willing to put in the hours and time and get feedback, then that's the kind of people you want to be working with.
Excellent. Okay. And you mentioned before, when we were chatting just before we actually sort of went on here, about freedom lifestyle. So what's your, which is a topic I love. I don't so much have the freedom lifestyle anymore, because I started it. I created my own online course, got some nice passive revenue, moved up to a mountain town, spent a summer kiteboarding, and then decided to start this company. And so I've got less the freedom lifestyle right now, but I have a ton of fun doing it. But what's your kind of concept of the freedom lifestyle? And I know you've got your book there, Never Work Again. So I'd be curious to see your concepts around that.
I was actually interviewed earlier today, and the question was like, what did you enjoy about the last sort of 8-9 years as an entrepreneur? And for me, it was like, it's the creation process.
Yeah.
For me, like, I'm the most happiest when I can do anything with creation.
Yeah.
That can be like looking at a website, trying to find out how to have a better website. It can be like being creative about our marketing. Anything that has to do with being creative, I really, really enjoy. So in Never Work Again, what we talk about is the freedom is really doing what you love, and then getting challenges, and then growing because you are getting those challenges. So by consistently growing and being creative and sort of meeting the challenges in life, you feel good because you're doing stuff and you're being challenged, and you'll be able to solve some problems. So I basically, freed myself, had people working for me in systems, and I only had to work a couple hours a week, and I was making good money, and I bought a couple of things that I really wanted, that I thought really would change people's perception of me, basically. And it didn't, and I found myself in a sort of weird place, because I achieved a lot of the things that I wanted to achieve, yet I wasn't feeling fulfilled. Right. So everybody out there is people out there that are happy, they're doing stuff, right? So working your entire life to retire just isn't appealing to me, because I know retirement will probably be incredibly boring. Not challenging yourself anymore. Yeah. And a lot of people die after they retire, right? So they'll work their entire life, and then they get to 67 and they die of a heart attack. Right. They've stopped their they don't have much purpose in life. They don't have much momentum. They're just kind of just getting up, watching TV, eating some lunch, watching some more TV, and that becomes their life. And it's quite a sad existence. And so I basically traveled and did all these things, but I didn't really feel fulfilled. Yep. So freedom lifestyle for me is doing what you love, and trying to sort of fill your days with things that you want to create and want to share with the world. That's, for me, it's what it's really about. Excellent. That's great. And I think that ties in well to the outsourcing concept, right? Because as you start to, with any business, it often starts off as that work of passion,
you start creating that fun thing that you're doing, and then business gets in the way, and there's the details, the accounting, the invoicing, the regular details that bog it down. And if you can find a way to outsource those repetitive tasks and just focus on the stuff that you love doing, then you create that dream lifestyle, even though you may be working hard and building a business and doing a lot of things and not just lounging on a beach the whole time. You're actually doing the stuff day to day that you love and being able to outsource that more mundane tasks.
Absolutely. And a lot of people start out in business with like a utopian idea of how it's going to be, but then they realize I got to like understand contracts and cash flow and legal stuff, and somebody sues you, and then
that's all the fun stuff for me.
yeah, maybe. Are you a lawyer?
I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah. So for me, that's like I just want everybody to be friends. Yeah. Oh
no, I don't like suing people. No. To be honest, I don't even like contracts. I understand them, but to me, usually when I do business deals, it's like handshake deals. I don't try to stay away from the contracts, just because I guess I have an unfair advantage on that side too. So I'd rather just say, I'll just treat you like a friend, and we'll do a good business deal here.
Yeah. So so people have this utopian dream, and then they get bogged down in all this stuff. Yeah. And then what they thought was going to give them more freedom in their life becomes a nightmare, right? Yeah. Another thing is you like asking yourself, what is your freedom number? Because there's I know quite a lot of rich people, and they have lots of problems. So when I started out in business, I thought, if I just have a lot of money, I won't have a lot of problems. But that's not true, right? So having a freedom number is really about sort of saying, I am very happy in life if I can live, in this house and have this stuff and, do these things. And that's what makes me happy. Yeah. What makes other people happy, because a lot of people spend a lot of life, myself including, trying to impress other people rather than just sort of being true to myself. Yeah. So I think that's a very big part of freedom, is sort of cutting the shackles of the world around you, and just sort of being who you want to be and doing what you want to do. And that's really what the freedom lifestyle is about.
Yeah. Being happy with where you're at that point in time, and enjoying what you're doing at that moment.
Yeah, because when we grasp for things, we're unable to enjoy the moment. Yeah. And the challenge of our ego is that once we grasp that one goal, we get up there and then we go for the next one. Yeah. When we reach a goal, it lasts. We need goals. Okay. Yeah. We need things to move towards, but it's the grasping that ruins it. Right. And if you're only looking at being happy when you hit that next level, then you're always never happy, because you're looking for the next level constantly. So you're right. Definitely good to have the goals and be shooting for them. But I think you also have to appreciate where you're at. I was talking to an entrepreneur recently, and they were telling me about the struggles of their business, and, not particularly happy at that moment. And I sort of said, whoa, hey, we talked a year ago when this was just an idea, like you were literally just starting out, and imagine if you could go back to yourself then and say, this is where you'd be today. How happy would you be then? And he's, like, I would be ecstatic. This would be amazing. And I've had this conversation with a few people recently. And so you almost have to reframe that of like, just put yourself back in your shoes a year ago or 6 months ago, and imagine that you were here and all the things you've accomplished in that time. And it kind of realigns that whole perception. It's actually an exercise in my book. It's not made by me, but it's made by somebody, I can't remember his name, but it's called the reverse gap. Yeah. And it's doing exactly what you were doing with your friends. Just like, go back to when you started and say like, oh, what if you were making this a month? And what if you were doing this and this and this, and you'd accomplish all these things? Would you be happy? You'd be like, yeah. 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 It's pretty amazing how you think about things can change all of that. Absolutely. Awesome. Great. Erlend, really appreciate having you here. And for everyone who's interested in learning more about outsourcing, I mean, honestly, I think that it's definitely worth checking out. It can really take a lot of the sort of regular mundane tasks in your business and make it easier to manage them. Check out MrOutsource.com, and Erlend can help you with that kind of stuff. Let you focus on the creative tasks and the stuff that you love doing, which of course, I find whenever it's such a good point. You make it as like a point to be happy in your business, but I think the
the corollary to that is that your business grows way faster too. And I know you're aware of that, is that when you are doing the stuff that's creative and that you're good at and that you love doing, that's when your business grows faster than if you're just focused on the little details every day. So the more you can outsource that, the better, or hire people to do it or get someone else to help with that.
One more thing I can suggest to everyone is like do a personality test, right? Yeah. Like do a DISC or a Myers-Briggs or a Talent Dynamics, or they're all the same anyway, right? But like get it on paper that you're like, so I'm a creative in the Talent Dynamics system. I'm a creative mechanic and a star.
Yeah.
So I like making stuff. I like being creative about making stuff, and I like being on stage. I like speaking and stuff like that. So it's fine, right? But I'm grounded in that. That means that my team needs to have all the other sort of personality traits for my functional. Yeah. But it's good to do the personality test because you can kind of go, okay, fine, I give up. I am like that. Yeah. I need to be like that. Yeah. And if I don't have that, then I get miserable. Yeah. It's just, that's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's actually a good point, because we focused a lot on the creative side and outsourcing the rest. But I know, say for my wife, who's an accountant, she loves to just come in and do the accounting side of things, right? And, it's not as simple as just bookkeeping. She's much more advanced than that, but she gets into managing the whole business side of things that for a lot of people would be something you might want to outsource. So I think that's a really good point, is to understand you and what it is that your strong points are and your points of interest are. And then you can pass off the other stuff, even if that is the creative stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, MrOutsource.com, great place to check you out, or you can check out Never Work Again. I know that's an Amazon bestseller. So thanks so much. I appreciate it.